Hi tribe, you're welcome back to my channel. This is Flookiesden and my name is Afolake. Because this season is also prone to increased accidents on our sleepy roads, I also think that it's important that we note a few steps that we should take in case we get into an accident or we get involved in an accident. There are some things that we need to take note of, and I think there's no better season than now to share it so we are all prepared and know what to do. From the news that we've had, there have been increase in the number of accidents, especially when this snow kicked off. So you want to be guided, you want to be informed to when you hit someone or when someone hits you within this season. It's not that they actually want to hit you, but their car slipped. Someone walked up to us in church last week Sunday, had hit one car on the road. It wasn't intentional, but he just needed by obligation to come report himself and say, oh, I hit somebody's car. I don't know if the person is part of your members in this church, and all of that. And things happen, although some people run away. Let's find out what you can do. So for those kind of situations, when there was a collision resulting in injury or death, those are the things that you report to the police. And in fact, by law, you shouldn't be holding back any information that has to do with your car. When you have an accident, or especially when it has to be a collision that results in an injury or death, or it might be a hit and run. People do hit cars and they run away. Yes, they do that here as well. So please report that. At least if your car was hit, you did not know who hit you and the person has actually missed in action, please call the police and report. If a driver is impaired, driving without, being fully alert to drive, maybe has been drinking or something's wrong, maybe not having clear vision. Impaired could be impaired in whatever means that you want to identify it with. So please also report that to the police. And if any of the vehicles have to be towed out of the scene, maybe the car can't move because of how bad the accident has occurred. So it's important to report that as well to the police. Also, when a collision involves a vehicle that does not have a license plate, this is a bad, in fact, a grave offense. If you drive without a license plate, now you hear them, you and police will talk. But please report this to the police. So these are most of the things that you need to report to the police. Don't keep any information away from the police when there's an accident that has occurred. So let's talk about what to do if you're involved in an accident in this winter season. And this also applies to any kind of accidents, not only during the winter. It could be any kind of accident, but more accidents are prone during this season because of the slippery roads. So you need to be informed about what to do. Although you do your best to drive responsibly and defensively, it's still smart to know what to do in case you end up being caught up in a collision. So crashes can be very scary, guys. It can be really bad, but there are some tips if one happens to you. So you need to understand what to do. First, I would say take a deep breath. Try and gain calmness. That's already a crash, and I know that people get tensed when they get into those crash. So just be calm, take deep breaths, so you can regain your calm. And after a crash, a person may feel wide in range. You just lose your emotions, or you're in shock. You're thinking of putting the blame on you. You feel guilty. If I had done this better, or if I hadn't slowed down, or you begin to have fear, there's nervousness, there's anger, so many emotions are just raging, but you need to just calm down. All of this is normal when this kind of incidents happens, but it's important that you just remain calm. Try, I know it's not easy, but try and remain calm. Take a few deep breaths, Take a few deep breaths. You can count, the way they tell us in first aid, count 1 to 10, just to regain your breath and sanity a bit. It will calm you a bit more and help you get prepared to be able to handle the situation. Because if you are so confused, there's no way you want to know the right thing to do. You probably will lose touch of your environment and you can't really take the next step. So it's a time to be calm, and it's also a time for you to take stock of the accident that has happened. Try to make a judgment about whether it's a serious one or a less serious one. I'll run you quickly on step-by-step guide on what to do. So the first thing, after you have calmed down and you have taken stock, check yourself. I know you're still angry, anxious, irritable, fearful, all of that. Calm down. Try and calm down. You probably need a few minutes or more to do that. But you also need to check yourself first, because when you check yourself, then you'll be able to determine whether you sustain any injury, you know what to do, you have your first aid kits. If it's very minor, then you can quickly attend to it, or if not, you call 911 or ask someone to help you call if there's something that is really more than a minor injury that has happened, if it's really a serious one. So you need to call an emergency personnel ASAP. Also check the well-being of your passenger. If you were not driving alone, you want to also check so you don't lose sight of somebody having passed out in the car. You want to be sure that the person is still breathing, somebody is also doing well, trying to recuperate from the fear or the anxiety or whatever must have occurred. So you want to check the well-being of those that are also in the vehicle. Make sure that they move, make sure that they speak, make sure that everyone is in good condition. You also want to get to safety. So for instance, if your car is constituting any road hazard, you want to see if you could move it away from the road if you can, or put on your hazard light, or put on that reflector, triangular reflector light that we talked about. Those are the things already should be existing in your car. So if you don't have it, that's the first things I spoke about. So go check it and have that in your car, and make sure that your car is safe from causing more havoc to other road users. It's also important that you call 911. So whether you are in an accident, whether it's a fender to bender accident, or a major accident, you want to call 911. It's important. So the responding officer will fill out an accident report document at the scene. So make sure that you call a 911. So a police officer will come to that particular scene and take stock of what has actually happened. Don't forget, like I said, during this particular season is winter, you want to leave your engine running. That's why you must have gas, you must have warm clothes, you must have your heater working. You want to keep warm, hazard light on. One thing I also want to mention is that you need to be aware of bandits or those tow trucks. If you don't call them and they pull beside you, this just flashes back to me from my country, but I'm going to save that for this one. But if you did not call them, all these tow trucks drivers, please, when they pull over beside you and offer to help, it may be a scam. So you want to be careful. It may or it may not be, but please let your alerts be on so that you also know when something is off. You need to be sure, because sometimes they persuade victims into letting them tow their vehicles to a safe place, which eventually happens to be a shady facility, and you want to be careful about that. You don't want to be held hostage so that they don't start extorting stuff from you. So please be mindful. That's just you putting on your thinking hat there, or an alert hat, so that when these things happen, you're already informed. Important for you to note also is to exchange information with the driver, whoever the other vehicle driver is. Make sure that after an accident, you're exchanging information with whoever drove the other car. Contact insurance information with the other driver. So it's important for your insurance claim, if you have to make any claim, and if you don't even report and the other person reports, they will still reach out to your insurance provider, and all of this will be taken note of. That's why when you buy cars, you see there's always a history. When you use the VIN number, we use VIN here to search out the vehicle. It shows the history of the car, whether in an accident, whether in a collision, whether it's a deer that collapse in front of the car, whatever you see, you will have a history. And if nothing happens, then you see nothing. So this is also to help other people that are going to be buying those cars to also know the state of the vehicle. So information that you need to share would be, or exchange, will be your full name and contact information, the insurance company, and your policy number, the driver's license, your plate number, the car color, model, the location of the accident, and so many more important things that you feel would help the insurance company in addressing this claim. I also know that when accidents occur, there's always the blame game, right? You went too fast. You didn't see the red sign. Why didn't you stop? Why did you take, accusing game goes on. So please, I think it's important. It has happened. Let's avoid discussing faults when this occurs, and let's just forget going over it, because it just doesn't help. It just keeps the anger rolling. It keeps you more angered when these things go on and you are pointing, accusing fingers. It has happened. Somehow the police will be able to, with the scene, when they come to the scene, and when you also take photographs of what has happened, they will be able to tell who is at fault or who drove wrongly. So that's not for you to bother yourself. But I know it's just an instinct thing. It's something that comes to almost everybody when these things happen. We just want to say, why did you do this? Why didn't you stop? You made a quick bend. You didn't see the red light. You went on yellow. You did this. Let's just cool down. Cool down. So when you file your insurance claim, the adjuster reviewing your claim will determine who is at fault on an inspection of the vehicle. So they will determine that it's not for you to determine. You might even think you're at fault. Sometimes they say if you hit someone from behind, you are the one at fault. But it also depends on the scenario around it. That's why bystanders or those that walk on the road can also help in this matter. So when they see something happen, they can always tell that, okay, this person was driving too fast. He was trying to beat the red light, and that is why this happened, So they will be able to take their own side of the story of what happened. So third parties are also going to be interviewed when these accidents happen, and all this information will be documented as supporting documentation for this claim. Like I said, don't forget to take pictures. Pictures is a very important tool to be able to show what happened at the scene, because you can't recreate the scene. So you want to take the picture from every angle, how the accident happened. I know there's a lot of things to remember, or there's a lot of things to put note of, but if one can just maybe have a note of all of these things and put it in your car trunk, you know what to do, you know what to ask, you know what to collect from the next driver or whoever must have been in the accident with you. What we just need to do is to be careful as much as possible, but I understand you can't be so careful. If you think you're careful, what about your other driver? And this is a test to also get to see how you look out for your other driver, somebody else that is driving across the road. So you want to avoid any of these incidents happening. So be mindful of the other party. Drive carefully. The road is very slippery. It is too slippery for you to want to drive a James Bond move in the snow. Please save that for the winter. Now you must add extra time to your drive time if you're going to work in the morning or coming back from work, or you want to do pickup of children from school. Just give allowance for extra time, because the roads are slower. Cars, of course, drive slowly, and there's a bit of traffic at this period. So you want to be mindful about that and be careful when you drive. Please, let's be mindful of other road users. Let's drive as cautious as possible to avoid this. I know we can't be too cautious, but as much as we can, let's maintain sanity on the roads. The roads are really bad these days. Do leave in the comment section if there are any more tips that we need to take cognizance about, especially during this winter period, so that everyone can learn and stay safe during this period. Please drop it in the comment section, and I'm sure everyone will be able to pick up and know what to do with it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe this winter season. We're in this for most of the year, looking at it till around April. So you want to be guided and put all these things in action so that we are all able to witness another summer for us to really let our hair down. Thank you for watching. See you again in another vlog. Bye for now.